I love my countdown. Welcome, everybody. Hi, it's 3 o'clock on Thursday. That means it's live. And I'm here all alone, but my brother Matt will be here very soon. We are spending our favorite 30 minutes together with you, our millions of fans, growing to be, close to billions of fans, but took a little bit longer. It took 39 episodes to get us to a million. So, but we are here with episode number 39. I've never done 39 things in a row, like ever. But we have done 39 of these every single week since May 25th of 2023. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to be seeing my brother again. I'm in Charlotte. He's in Boston. And today we are talking about brother Matt is in the Agile Scrum project management world, and also talent and career development. And I'm in the hotel business, hospitality business, owning, operating, franchising, independent hotels, a little bit of everything. I guess you can call me a consultant. Got a few other things going on. And we are talking about the biggest problem that he, or we have. And the reason why that's a topic is because I joined a community, an online community, and that was one of the questions that they asked me. Like when I first signed in, they said, "What's your biggest problem?" I was like, "Wow, that's an awesome question," and I really, really thought about it, right? And just like like I usually do, I overthought it, but I answered it in like multiple ways, and so I said, "What's the biggest problem I'm trying to solve in my business?" Or in the hotel industry, and so I answered that. But also I did stay focused on what's my biggest problem, like what am I trying to solve for myself, and I thought that that would be a great episode, great topic of conversation, because I really actually enjoyed the time that I spent. It was only 10 to 15 minutes to really think about, go deeper into like, what's my problem? What's your problem? And so today is the What's Your Problem episode of People Who Move. So if we are going to ask and invite people who move, which we do, and I'm going to do that again, which I've been trying to do every episode just by texting some of our regular guests. If you've been on the show before, you know how this works. All you need is a link um, and 20 or 30 minutes to talk. And we've got 39 episodes, so there's at least 39 of you. There's more than that. So yeah, if you're here watching and listening, text me for the link. I'll send it to you. I'm going to send it to a few people already. I already have. But that's the kind of vibe here that we're wanting to create here. So to pop in, pop out, ask some questions like, and there is beautiful bro.
That's right. They call me the blue bro.
Yeah, I'm pretty buttoned up today. I don't wear a lot of like crew necks sweaters, but it makes me feel like like a smart like accounting person. Like
There you go. There you go.
yeah.
After your picture on the website, man, I was having someone look at that yesterday, and they're like, "Man, your bro looks dapper." He's like,
Oh, really?
he looks
The,
looks like a hospitality professional there.
Bro, a friend of mine I sent a friend of mine like 20. He asked me to send him like 20 profile photos, just 20 pictures of me, like selfies.
Yeah.
Those are AI photos.
No way.
Yeah, those are AI
You?
photos, and he sent me 20 of them. Um, I'll share them on the screen right now. I'll share. It's hilarious
No way.
because
I thought you dressed up. I was like, man, my bro looks good.
pretty good, huh? Yeah. It's all artificial looking good, but it is my face. On some of them, my neck is like really long, um,
Oh, nice.
and
Well,
but I won't show him now. I don't want to divert our topic. But yeah, it he sent me a bunch of these photos, and it's amazing what some of them, like the one I used on our HI3, the Hospitality Industry Impact Initiative. If anybody wants to come visit, We got our great nonprofit happening. That's going well. Um, Let me just pop that up there. There you go, hospitalityimpact.org. So we got a lot of good things going on there. Um, so yeah, I put the so if you go to hospitalityimpact.org, go to I think /staff, and
Yeah.
you'll see Matt, me, and Olin Pitters, the treasurer, and John Cardonia and Sean Smith, a few other people, and we are developing a junior board of youth advisors. So, but yeah, that photo on there is of me like in a suit and stuff. I haven't worn a suit for a couple years now, so yeah, it was pretty cool how that worked, and that was the best of the bunch that actually looked most like a real photo. Some of them had me, bro. I'll send you some of them. Some of them had me look like Steve Jobs, like a turtleneck, and
Nice.
made me look all like jacked up and in like great, amazing shape. I was
Yeah.
like, no one's gonna believe that.
No, but it looks good. It's very believable. You look dapper. You look ready to go. And
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. It's I guess looking dapper and being ready to go. That's real. That's not artificial.
no, that's real. That's real. And it's good to see. It looks very hospitality, right? I mean, hospitality. You
Yeah.
want a professional look and feel,
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
which is cool. So what do we got? What do we got in the docket today? I know I was a few minutes late, but we got
Yeah. I was saying I joined an online community, kind of a networking community, and I was just saying on the intro that when I joined, it just asked me a couple questions, and I think the second question it asked me was, "What's your biggest problem?" And that stopped me in my tracks, and because I said, just with me, anyways, and you know me, I'll list like 15 or 20 different problems that I have, and I'm trying to solve each one, like juggle all this stuff. And so, but it was really a valuable 15 or 20 minutes before I answered to really think about. I diverted, I did what I do, and I went. I was like, all right, what's the biggest problem for my industry, the hotel industry? What's that biggest problem? And I made a bunch of notes and study, but then I was like, you know what is my biggest problem? Like, what
yeah,
what am I trying to solve for myself? What's in front of me that I'm trying to solve? And so I'll share that with you in a moment. But I thought that was a really cool thing because it's something that deserves our attention,
it
I
does
think,
for
and I
anybody
think
you're
that's
talking
right. And
to.
but it's also one of those things, bro, that we talk about a lot in these episodes. Is it's a cliche, right? That if you don't spend time to actually think about the cliche,
Yeah,
then it just means nothing. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I almost quickly answered like, "Oh, my biggest problem is I don't know, whatever, something on the surface." I was like,
yeah,
trying to build a business, and that's my biggest problem, or something like that. But I was like,
yeah,
no, that. And so I thought this was a good topic, and everyone knows that if you can text me or Matt if you've been on the show before, you're welcome to come join the studio, and I'll send you the link for today. But I was curious to talk about it with you. I did two things. I will say what I said, and I even made a video on it. It's on our YouTube channel at Hospiamo, and it's called The Problem.
yeah,
And what the problem is for our industry, that I boiled it on down, but I really haven't been clear about it. And the problem is, and I call it the ceiling.
yeah,
It's the ceiling of hospitality managers, hotel managers in this case, the ceiling that is above the property, that it's very thick and it keeps them from becoming an owner of something.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And that is the problem. It's that ceiling. And I know it was the problem because I was part of, I built it. Like I helped build that ceiling, and
yeah,
the journey that I've been going through, and I'm trying to dismantle that thing
yeah,
because you got owners and operators, and most of the operators are not owners.
yeah,
Most of the owners have a good amount of like operating and management experience, but really they already have financial capital,
yeah,
and they need to work with the people who have social capital.
yeah,
but the problem is converting that social capital to financial capital. Like some of the
Yep.
most, we everyone that we have on the show has a huge amount of social capital.
Yep.
Most of them, from my side, they're just making a paycheck, man, and everyone's either looking for a paycheck, trying to grow their paycheck, grow their salary, do a
Yep.
little bit something on the side, do some hustles. But the problem is the ceiling, and so I, over a very long period of time, was able to break through that ceiling, and I own something now, right? I own a
Yeah.
few things. I own a little piece of a couple hotels. I own this, but it took 25 years, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's
And it
not because
shouldn't
I'm
take that
smarter than
long.
anybody, or no, it just
Shouldn't take that long for someone who's a go-getter and who's focused on that,
exactly.
right?
So
It shouldn't be that.
I went through that, and I'm starting something. I'm not really ready to announce it yet, but
Yep.
something different that I've been working on, and I'm excited about it. But that did get me thinking about that one problem. Now, me personally, right? A problem that I have, and I've been bumped up against too, and I've asked a lot of people, and I'm curious what you think. But one problem that I have is the fact that people who know me, not like best friends or like close colleagues, but like I know a lot of people, and a lot of people know me, and I have a lot of trust developed over all these years with people. And the a problem that this has been told to me
Yep.
is that they, or somebody that I might want to do business with as a consultant or just do a small project with, or they think that I'm too busy, or they think that I have too much else going on. They think that I would not be able to focus on them because I do have a lot publicly. Ever since we
Yep.
started doing this, it looks like I don't know, I'm more popular maybe. We have a podcast and stuff like that. It's like
Yeah.
we're more busy. I'm perceived as
Less accessible.
less accessible. That's
Approachable.
a good word. And also
Less
that,
approachable.
or that I have like this uh, multiple revenue streams coming in, and I don't. I'm out there fighting and clawing, and like I want to go work with some of these people, and I'm kind of like nice and soft in how I ask them, but I was like, I really want to work for you, or part time.
Yeah.
I want to help you
Yeah.
out, and there's so much I can do, and so it's a problem that I do. One, I don't ask often, right? I do live the whole give, and then ask later. But I do ask, and a lot of the feedback that I get is the problem, and that is I didn't even know that you were open to work. I didn't even know that that's what you were doing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
because I can run the gambit of ownership, operations, management, buying hotels, selling hotels, investing in hotels,
Yeah.
talent development, management, interviewing, whatever, just helping. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so the problem is maybe the perception is not accurate out there in the world. And so
Yeah.
I'm hungry, looking for work, looking for some extra gigs and stuff like that. But that's a problem for me, and I sometimes don't open up as much as I should about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because that's the mass perception versus the individual perception is how I think about it. And to the masses, that happens a lot. Like people are often off with seeing you. The world sees, I think, each of us more superficially than we are, and they
Mm,
just they because I've had the same thing. People are like, oh my goodness, you're so busy as a coach. Like even companies and organizations that I do coaching with, I've had leaders come to me and say, well, I didn't think I could ask you for any assistance because I figured you were just flat out. And it's just because when you're busy
that's
doing a
real.
lot of things, the assumption on the outside is that like you don't have any time for anything, right? Whereas the most important thing I make time for are the individual relationships and the one-on-one coaching sessions and things like that. So for you, I would see it as I wouldn't see that as a problem to really address the global perception. I would and I think you're already doing this, but just continue setting up one-on-one conversations with the people who you want to have those conversations with,
Mm,
and then getting deep and saying, by the way, to the outside world, it looks like I'm this, but in reality, I'm making time available for certain opportunities, and maybe something working with you might work out, right? And then you can have that
that's good.
conversation. That's like a private, right?
Yep.
It's down the rabbit hole a little bit. That's not a public like, hey, I'm available, because then it's like, then you're getting all the spam and all the stuff out there. You don't want that, obviously.
That's right. And some of the the friends or people that I'm mentoring and working with, they have the same issue, and
Yep.
and I've helped them. I've tried to help them, find employment or whatever it is, and some successfully. But you're right; it really doesn't get over the second hump
Yeah.
of until you get one person that says, "Sure, I'll spend 15 minutes with you to hear about you or to hear about somebody else." And then once that 15 minutes is done, it's very rare that you're like just one of 50 fish in a pond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're the only fish and you got that positive movement going forward. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, just set up a call, right?
Yeah. Set up a call selectively with the people that you want to
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
those
that's good.
conversations with.
Do you
Yeah.
have any thoughts on that for you? I mean, are you trying to solve something for you? Do you have a what's your problem?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I think of different things, bro. Like there's one, my company does, yeah, you and I may not have talked about this recently because a lot has happened in the last few weeks, but my company does advisory work for health and wellness company,
Mhm.
son-in-law's company and stuff like that, which we talked about before.
Yep.
But their big problem or challenge was on two sides. Supply side, being able to get their product manufactured consistently, like with short lead times. So when they did sell it to somebody, they would be able to get their product delivered like within a month or so instead of like within 6 months to a year. It's like
Mm.
it's hard to increase sales if you always have to wait 6 months to a year to even deliver a product, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. So they had a supply side issue, which recently got solved, and then they had a demand creation issue from a sales, um, marketing, lead generation. Um,
Hmm.
they have their this the CEO is basically, he does the sales and he handles all that stuff, and chief cook, bottle washer, all the typical stuff. He does it all, installations and everything. Um, but their other challenge that they had is they didn't have anybody generating leads in a consistent way. Um, in other words, the CEO had to go do it. Like he'd be on a podcast, and then people would say, "Oh wow, I was on that podcast," and there was like 50,000. Some of the podcasts he goes on are pretty big podcasts, and they're like, "Oh, like 50,000 people downloaded that podcast, and
Mm.
I want one of your products. Okay, so let's talk." And then they have a conversation. They go. So there wasn't a system for consistent lead creation, and that recently got solved too
Oh,
because
good.
one of the CEO's uh, friends, who's become a stronger and stronger friend over the years, is that's his expertise. That's his wheelhouse. And he's like,
Huge.
"Yeah, I want to work with you, partner with you on this." So now the bookends are ready, right? Supply side, demand creation are ready to go. So then, to answer your question, is what's the problem for that business? The
Hmm.
problem was uh, nobody's project managing the launch of the new marketing and all the planning and all the stuff. So um, I solved that problem just before this meeting, just before our podcast today, by sending an
Mm.
email. And literally, I had asked the guy last week, the lead gen guy. I asked him. I said, "How do you like to?" And it's funny because he's younger, right? And I don't love dealing with email. I said, "What's your best way of communication?" He says, "Oh, email is the best way." It's like, okay. So I
Okay.
sent, and this is sort of like an older answer, but it's the most appropriate for this group. It's I sent an email out to all the key people and basically outlined the project plan. Here's what we're planning to do. This, when are we going to launch? Let's put a date on the calendar. What needs to be done before launch? Boom, 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 for the whole new marketing machine and execution
Yeah.
and the implementation of that. So that the problem there was lack of communication, lack of organization, because everybody's in different places, different offices, different homes, whatever. Um, And
And you were another voice besides the CEO.
yes,
That's huge.
the
That's a
CEO
huge
doesn't have
value.
project management in his wheelhouse either, like I do,
No.
right? We all bring
Yeah.
different things to the table.
Yeah.
So, um, and I was waiting over the last week and a half to watch how fast this was going without interjecting, but the interjecting of an email, I'm sure is going to put gas in the fire now. It's going to start to align things because everybody involved is, and this happens, I think, a lot in hospitality and everywhere. I see this a lot in big companies. And just to generalize the problem a little bit, there's oftentimes a lot of people who all have aligned intentions. Like we all want this initiative to succeed for this hotel or for this company or whatever. And you got a lot of people who are like, yeah, I want it to succeed. Yeah, I want it to succeed. I'm doing my part. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
waiting on this, waiting on that, waiting on this, right? You got all these people, but there's no alignment. There's no like focus. There's no like divining rod of like, all right, the next small step we need to take together as a group is X. And this is what we need to do to take that step. Boom, we're taking that this week, right? That type of like just divining rod thing to bring things down to um, to increase the you and I talked about the bias for action, to increase the sense of urgency around what needs to be done now,
Mm.
especially when you don't have one person who's accountable for the success of what you're working on, right? You gotta we like
Right. The owner or the
like yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
one person.
Could
Right.
be the owner, yeah, the owner of that initiative or something like
Yeah.
that. And I think this happens probably all over the place. Like if you're doing a hotel renovation, I mean, there's
Yeah.
not one person maybe who's responsible for it all. So now you have this committee, you have different people,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have things. So anyway, I think that's a common challenge, and I think communication. Um, I think consistent communication and open communication with the key stakeholders is really what's important. And whether you're using Slack or text or email or daily phone call, in the agile world, they have what's called a daily scrum, where it's a daily
Mm-hmm.
huddle. It used to be called a stand up, and you just get everybody together for
Yep.
15 minutes or less once a day. It's like, hey, what's our plan for the day? Right? Team comes together,
Yep.
and that's the type of thing that was missing for this particular initiative. And we'll probably have a daily thing going on at some point with the
Mm-hmm.
group. But anyway, that's what I would say as a uh, the biggest an example of the biggest problem there.
Yeah. It's a one, maybe call it one voice. Like when you have like 15 different voices and
Yep.
everyone's very serious and wanting for, growth to happen,
Yeah.
progress. And yeah, it's and when that happens over time, well, I would say the as an independent, you know, uh, consultant or business owner or whatever, I am out there looking not as much for new relationships, but possibly to work with someone in a different relationship type of way. So,
Yep.
for example, me working with someone that I've known for 20 years,
Mm.
but maybe it's a former boss of mine, or maybe I was a former supervisor or boss of theirs, but
Yep.
now we're in separate companies and we're wanting to work together, but we've never actually worked on like one project together. And
Right.
so when we grow in a very similar way, but it's a problem. Well, it can be a problem if you don't talk about
Yeah.
those things up front,
Yep.
particularly money. If you
Yep.
can just get money, like, are we agreed on the money part? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Let's move that off to the side and just
Yep.
let's just start working. And like, are you okay with me telling you that you're full of crap? I'm
Yep.
okay with you telling me I'm full of crap or I'm just going in the wrong direction. Let's just get that off to the side,
Yep.
and then we
Exactly.
can just talk and be real and know that there's respect there and nobody's offended.
Yep.
Nobody's saying like, well, it's a different culture than mine. I don't really fit in, or all those feelings. I think that can be accelerated to the point where they're just done and over with. And
Yep.
you can do that in a new relationship if you sometimes know your those challenges up front. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Yeah, it's just think of, innovation is another term that's, used, thousands of time a day, but what is innovation? It's really change. It's
Yep.
something different, it's something new. And it's something that when I started this episode, I said, what's your biggest problem? When somebody asked me what my biggest problem was, I was like, you know what? I am constantly thinking about the problems I'm trying to solve. Okay,
Yep.
I'm good at that. I'm a very good problem solver. But really, what is my problem? What is the one thing? What's the one problem? And it wasn't until I spent about 10 or 15 minutes really trying to figure out. I didn't want to assume anything.
Yeah.
And what I found after just sitting with myself for it's probably 5 minutes, to be honest. It
Yep.
wasn't even 15. Then I was able to be like, you know what? I'm a good problem solver, but I really didn't articulate what the problem was that I was trying to solve.
Right.
And that has been a problem for me in the past, right? So
Yeah.
trying to fix 50 problems instead of just one a day. And so, yeah, I think that's
That,
a very common, like you said, it's happening everywhere.
that
And
alone that alone time is really important, bro. And I've been studying a little bit of, I don't know if you've seen him, but what's his name? Shi He Yang. He's a monk who's been very vocal. Did a TED talk years ago, and now he's
yes,
been on podcasts, and he's
you told
all,
me about him. That's right. Yeah, you had
yeah.
mentioned him.
So he has a lot of he talks about a lot of these things, such as the importance of being alone with your thoughts, not just to meditate, but to do exactly what you just said, is to think about what is the next step for me to take? What is my problem that I'm trying to deal with? And getting clear on that. There's certain things that you can't get help from other people on. You have to just stop and think yourself, because you're a unique individual in this world, in this universe, and you know certain things. You like, right, but and people are afraid, or it's awkward or whatever, uncomfortable to go do that. But
It is
sit down
uncomfortable
and
because if you're
yeah,
being honest with yourself, you might find something that you don't like about yourself, or you might find something that you really knew that you needing to change for many years, but you've been avoiding it. And
yeah,
those are the things that sometimes people say when you look into the abyss, you see a reflection of yourself, but the longer you look in, the farther you can see.
yeah. I like that, bro. I
Yeah,
like
it's a nice way to think about that. It's like it's not the abyss, it's not darkness, but the more you stare in, you get whatever the night vision,
yeah,
and
I like
that
that.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
I like that.
Well, we
That's
can end
awesome.
it there, bro. You have a
Yeah.
I think a hard stop in a minute.
Yep.
So this is a great topic. We usually get our feedback after our live events, and so I'm going to share this with my LinkedIn family and some other social medias. I'll take some notes if I hear of any questions and stuff like that. But it's a great topic. Go deeper into your problems. Don't assume you know what your problems are. Spend time with yourself, and then after you spend time with yourself, then ask for some help, right? And
Yeah. Exactly.
or some outside opinion. But you got to know it.
Yeah. You got to know it. Be accountable to yourself first, right? And figure out what you're trying to do.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's as uncomfortable as it may be.
Yep.
All
That's
right,
cool,
good.
bro. That's
What's your
awesome.
problem episode? That was a nice one. And so
What's your
ask
problem?
yourselves that problem there, everybody. And thanks, bro. I love you. And we will talk again next week. Oh, before you joined, I said I've never done 39 things in a row consistently, and we've now had 39 episodes every week since May
Uh-oh.
25th. And so I'm really proud of us, and I love doing this with you and
Proud
every
of it
week.
too,
And
bro.
so I'm really psyched that we said we were going to keep going, and we're just keep on going.
Yeah. 40's coming up.
Yeah, big 4-0.
I wonder if 50. I wonder how close 52 is going to be to Mom's birthday again. If it's like a couple days before, because we got a leap year now, right? So
Oh,
we'll
we
be
got a
off
leap
at
year.
least.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it falls on a Thursday. I'll do that for my own homework.
Yeah, do your homework. See if it's like
Yeah,
a day early or 2 days late or whatever. But
maybe we'll have a special episode from Mom.
yeah,
That'd be
yeah,
good. All
good
right,
stuff. All right,
love you.
love you,
Great day.
bro.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye
everybody.
bye.
Bye.